Hello, my name is Daphne, I'm 33 and I work in healthcare. On February 8th this year, I converted to Islam and I'm still very much a student, still very much in the process, and I don't think that will ever end. The journey that led me here felt less like a sudden change and more like a long-awaited click. Personally, I did not grow up religious. I was raised in a typical liberal Western agnostic environment. Yet I always felt a pull towards something beyond the material. But I lacked the framework for it, to name it.
Over a decade, I searched. I dived into spirituality, Buddhism, and meditation, contemplation, trying to parse out the nature of the self, suffering, and reality. Simultaneously, through my professional background, I was studying science and systems thinking. The more I studied, the more I ran into a singular truth.
We are not as in control as we think we are. We're constantly influenced by our biology, our environment, our hormones, and our shifting emotions. We drift. Yet modern Western culture tells us the opposite. Regulate yourself, optimize yourself, figure it out alone. To me, that felt like a logical fallacy. If everything in the world is changing, limited, and inherently unstable, then what do you actually orient your life around? If the compass itself is spinning, how do you find north? So then I opened the Quran, and the first surah that you read is Al-Fatiha. It felt like I was finally finding the framework that I had always been looking for. It was simple, direct, and honest. You are not in control. You are not fully reliable, and you need guidance. And you turn to only one source only, and that is Allah. I have to simplify this journey a little bit to make it doable for TikTok, but bear with me. So it wasn't so much about suppressing my intellect, it was about anchoring it. It was the realization that we shouldn't be slaves to our own desires, to societal pressures, or to the opinion of others. We orient ourselves to the Creator alone and then build a life structured around that. So everything else I've studied, from psychology, philosophy, science, systems thinking, it was excellent at describing the problem. These are models. They describe something. They're always mediated. But Islam has been the only thing that gave me something to actually stand on. It didn't feel like blind belief. It felt like proper orientation. But it hasn't been a pretty struggle. It has been a struggle, trust me. But I'll talk about that in a different video. So I'm not here to convince anyone. Someone asked me just to tell my story, how I got into Islam. It's not really the full story because I feel like I'm missing details, but I have to kind of compress it into a video. So excuse me for that. May Allah forgive me. I'm still very much learning and questioning. I will never pretend that I have all knowledge, because all knowledge is partial and human. But for the first time, I found a path that actually makes sense. Something to live by, to orient yourself around. Maybe in future videos I can talk a little bit about other aspects of this journey as a revert. But of course, there's also a lot of born Muslims that come back to Islam and build a new type of connection with the religion and with Allah. Because I noticed also that a lot of people who, for example, not everyone of course, but are born Muslims and they get it from their parents, sometimes they build a deeper connection with it later because they learn to understand it through their own heart. Just a deeper connection. And that can also be quite an intense journey. What I noticed, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but when you face Allah genuinely in prayer, in dhikr, and it might sometimes bring up aspect of yourself that block your connection to Allah. Things that you thought about yourself, experiences that you had that close your heart. But we'll talk about that in another video. I wish you all a beautiful day.